Hi guys, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Lauren, the container designer over here at the Gardener Center, and today we're talking summer planters, but not just any summer planters. We're going to talk about kind of something unconventional or kind of different than just your typical beautiful flowering planters. First ones we're going to talk about is using tropical plants and foliage to do some really beautiful and dramatic looking patio planters. And then we're going to come back here and we're going to discuss what makes these guys unconventional. So stay tuned. Okay, so for the first of our unconventional summer planters today, I'm going to show you a few different looks for foliage and tropical houseplant planters. They're a really great option for varying light levels. All the ones I'm going to show you today are going to be full sun, but they're also an awesome option for shade containers, and they'll work on that level. So that's really, it's good to have something versatile that could work in varying conditions. So for the back ones, we have a nice tall snake plant. I love this one. I love the patterns on it. It looks really nice contrast to this bright bromeliad that we have here. And then we have the pink tying into this coleus. The coleus is great because it works in a lot of different light levels, and you'll see that I'm using them in quite a few of my planters today because it's a nice way to add color to a lot of green plants. And some creeping Jenny, because I just love this stuff. All of this stuff is going to fill in because these were just recently planted, so this is going to spill down. And then we have this wonderful vermilier Kufia. The hummingbirds love it, and you'll see I'm using it in other things as well. It's a nice way to tie in to the tropical stuff. So yeah, let's go take a look at a couple of the other ones that I did. I found some really cool looking bromeliads, so let's go take a peek. All right, now these ones might just be one of my favorite ones of the set today. They're just so funky and colorful. I love them. So it's always really nice to get some height in there with using something spiky and tall. And of course, these were all just planted, so they're all gonna grow in and be more full and lush as the season goes on. Used another really awesome bromeliad here. Just has such a cool, fun look and pattern going on. The coleus again, I use because, like I said, it goes great in different light levels, and it comes in so many colors, so it could really tie into other things that you have in your planter, like these two here. Did the creeping Jenny again, which again, it's going to spill. It's just such a lovely contrast to so many things. It gives you that like really bright, nice pop of color, and that will spill really long for you. And then we used some of this Kofia again. This is a different variety, but again, the hummingbirds just love this stuff, and it still kind of ties in with the tropical theme. So it's versatile. You can kind of mix and match with different things. It works really great in these foliage planters, but it also looks good paired with other flowering plants. And now that we've seen these, let's go take a look at some of the patio plants. I'm really excited to show you those, so let's go check them out. All right, so now I have some examples of some beautiful summer planters that you can do for the patio. They're great for like a backyard where you're going to have some parties for the summer. Using houseplants and other tropical plants. These are ones that are going to be able to take some sun, but like I had mentioned before, a lot of these green plants are really, really great for shade situations, so they're really versatile. And grouping them together like this is just a great way to add some dimension and just a lot more character to a patio. And as I had mentioned before, little pops of color that you could add in the way of coleus or flowering plants is really gonna just give you kind of like a more finished, polished feel. And as I mentioned before, all of this stuff was freshly planted, so it's all gonna fill in, and by the end of the summer, it's just gonna be so lush and full. And yeah, so thanks for checking these out. Next up, I'm gonna show you some other unconventional planters in the way of combining form and function. Okay, so now that we've taken a look at some of the beautiful things that you can do with tropical houseplants and foliage, we are going to talk about these guys, and you're probably wondering what makes them unconventional in terms of summer planters, because they're bright, they're colorful, they're blooming, they're pretty, typical than what you'd see in a patio. What makes them unconventional is that the intention behind them was purposeful. So it's really that combination of, form and function, and not just planting mainly for aesthetics, but for the purpose of attracting pollinators. and then also tying in edible things. So, and you can do a lot of edible things in planters that are just as beautiful, I think, as just flowers. You can do bush beans and things like that, but today we're mainly talking about pollinators and herbs. So that's what we're going to be seeing most of these planters. I did a kind of an example of some plants that are really great for pollinators, a mix of native and cultivated plants, a mix of annuals and perennials. So for this first one, we have this beautiful salvia, and you'll see from the shape of the salvia, it's really great for, this is a clue really in the structure, that it attracts hummingbirds, because hummingbirds have those long, cute noses with the little tongues that get up all the nectar. So those are going to be great for attracting hummingbirds, other things as well. We have some of this catmint that is a favorite. You see it in a lot of landscaping, and it's an excellent pollinator plant. Attracts a lot of different pollinators. And when we're talking about attracting pollinators, you want to really do a mix of different types of plants, but also different colors, because different pollinators are attracted to different colors. So you want to be able to offer different things that are going to attract really a more variety of pollinators, and they'll still jump to other things, but there's certain things that kind of pull them in. And catmint is one that is really great for bees, because bees love purples, they love blues, they love whites, and again, they love yellows. They'll come to other things as well, but they're like super drawn to those. Not seen here, but something I'm just going to mention because I love tying in like the edible and aesthetics and all of that stuff. There's an annual called borage, and the bees are just obsessed with it. I mean, I will never go outside and to my borage plant and not see like a million bees like buzzing around. And the cool thing about borage is they're these beautiful little star-colored flowers, and they're blue, and they taste like a spicy cucumber. So they're just like a cute way to add like color and like fun to your salads. I like eating things that are colorful and fun. I don't know, that's just me, but I think we probably all do, so let's do that, more of it. All right, so, and then we also have some thyme here. Thyme I love. It's actually one of my favorite herbs. It's one of like the main staple culinary herbs, but it's also super medicinal and just super beneficial in a lot of ways, not only for us and our bodies, but also for the pollinators, because when they flower, they have these cute, delicate, they have these little spires of flowers, and they're just like cute, delicate little flowers, and bees buzz around them, different types of pollinator flies, all different kinds of stuff. So those are really beautiful and really fun to include. It's also great to just have herbs on your patio planters, because you can just go, right outside, clip off some herbs, chop it up and put it in your dishes, and it's really versatile. You could do a lot with it. I crush them up and just throw them right in like my fresh salads when I go out and pick greens and everything. But you could also dry them out. You could use them as teas. Really good for all kinds of stuff, health-wise, immune system-wise, for coughs and things like that. And also, I dry them out and I do like infused oils, like with vinegar and olive oil with garlic and other oregano and things like that. So it's a really awesome like homemade salad dressing, and you're packing in lots of nutrients with the herbs. And then for this planter, I did in the back here some lobelia, which is a native plant. This guy's not flowering yet, but he grows tall. He does a nice big flower stalk, and then he has these little red flowers, and he's great for attracting hummingbirds. So when we're talking colors, the hummingbirds just love the color red. They like bright oranges too, so they'll just be drawn to that. So plant some salvia, plant some lobelia, you'll have them buzzing around. And then the coffea as well, which we saw in the tropical planters. That's another, we learned another great hummingbird plant, and just so happens to be red because they love that color. And all these pollinators see differently than us. So the reason why they're drawn to these certain colors is they really stand out to them a lot more than even to us. And in line with those kind of nice fiery colors, we have some lantana here. This is a great annual that will attract pollinators. Great for butterflies. Butterflies love this stuff. We also have some of this Thai basil, again tying in awesome edible things, and it smells amazing too. So I don't know about you guys, but when I walk out on my on my deck in the summer, I'm all about all those good smells, and I love the smell of basil. The Thai basil is just heavenly. And then we have some of this echinacea, coneflower rather, which again is certain varieties are native. This one is a cultivated variety, I believe, but it comes in a range of colors. So because it's versatile like that, it's really great for attracting a bunch of different pollinators because you could really like mix and match colors. And both the coneflower and the lobelia are native plants. So when we're thinking of attracting pollinators and you want to create habitat or just attract more of them to your yard, native plants are just awesome way to go. It also just helps support so much of our, our local native wildlife. So you're doing your part when you're including native varieties. So I like that. Keep it up. And we have plenty at the store too, because we want to be able to support that as well. So if you're looking particularly for like pollinator plants or for native varieties, please ask somebody in the nursery and we can direct you to that stuff. And then over in this planter, we have some of this beautiful purple salvia. The salvia, again, is just a wonderful all-around pollinator plant. Comes in a few different colors, white, pink, so it'll attract different things. And whites tend to attract, like I had mentioned, they attract bees. They also attract predatory wasps, which are great. They attract different kinds of flies. And again, we don't always think of these things as pollinators, but although certain things might not be the most desirable when we think of them, they're really serving a place in the ecosystem, and it's totally fine to give these predatory wasps something to come to get, because what they're going to do is they're going to eat some of the bad pests that we have in our planters or in our garden. So they're serving a purpose. So attracting them is actually helping us in the long run, having to cut back on certain pesticides. So yeah, it's always great to do that. And then another beautiful annual variety that's awesome for pollinators is the zinnia. It comes in a lot of different colors, so it's really versatile again for attracting different types of pollinators. It's one of my favorites for attracting pollinators and just giving them, like a food source. And then I did some more of this lovely thyme because I just love this stuff. Again, it smells amazing, and those little flowers I had mentioned just have all kinds of things buzzing around here. And then we did this lovely, beautiful basil, this purple basil. And again, it's so dramatic, the color, and you could use it obviously in culinary uses. Smells amazing, and then when it grows nice and big and tall and it gets flowers, it's again gonna attract tons of pollinators. So just really good stuff. It's always good to bring a variety of things to attract pollinators. And a couple of things here that I didn't mention, I would just be like surrounded by planters if I included all the, wonderful pollinator plants that we have here. So I'm just going to mention a few of them that I wasn't able to put in. So Coreopsis is an amazing native plant that's great for pollinators, as well as yarrow, as well as bee balm. As the name mentions, or the name implies rather, the bees love it, absolutely love it. It smells really good, and it also is, certain varieties of it you could use for teas and things like that, because it is also medicinal, as well as yarrow if you get the native, not cultivated varieties. So again, those are 3 native plants that you could add. Also another one is agastache. So agastache is probably one of the most amazing ones, and I wish that I had like a big towering blooming one to show you. They're not quite in bloom yet. I think we're supposed to be getting more in, but we don't have them at the moment, so that's why they're not pictured here. But it's a native plant. It's a long blooming plant. It blooms like all the way into the summer, into the fall, and it's a light purple color, so it attracts tons of bees, but a lot of other wonderful things as well. Milkweed is another one. It's an amazing plant for butterflies, specifically for monarch butterflies. So if you're looking to attract pollinators, or you're looking to do your part and provide habitat for these caterpillars so they can grow into butterflies, milkweed definitely is one to go with. And just want to thank you for planting natives and pollinator plants when you do, because it's something that's really near and dear to my heart. When I plant, I'm never really just planting for aesthetics. There's always functions, so I'm always like packing in lots of edible things and things that not only I can eat, but things that I can provide for the birds and for the bees and, all kinds of pollinators, because they're really helping us in the long run. They're helping pollinate most of our things that we eat, most of our food. And when we help wildlife, when we help the environment, we're really helping ourselves and our own longevity. So thank you so much, for taking care of yourselves, take care of the planet, take care of the pollinators, and plant some of these amazing plants. Another quick thing to add in is that if you are looking to attract pollinators, to your garden and wanting to provide for them, there's three main things that you're going to want to do. You're going to want to provide food, shelter, and water. So it's always great to have bird baths or fountains, some type of water features for them to come land, get a little drink, and of course they could drink on the plants as well when you keep them watered and we get rain. But in droughts, it's always good to have that other water source. And then of course the plants are providing a lot of that food, but also the shelter. So when you're planting things densely together, either in containers or in your garden, or allowing some things to kind of like some debris to kind of sit on the bottom of your ground, what you're doing is you're providing that habitat for the plants, or for the pollinators rather. Birds and grasses are also a wonderful habitat and food source for birds. So just thank you so much for listening, and please keep in mind that it's great to provide food for the pollinators, and there's other ways that you can manage pests rather than just using pesticides. You could plant consciously, and just keep in mind that there are things that are going to attract the good pollinator or the good predators. And yeah, so thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.